Did Claressa Shields really organize this entire birthday getaway for Papoose? Or was Wendy Williams quietly behind the scenes setting up that surprise visit from his daughter? That's the question everyone's asking right now, because today we're diving straight back into the ongoing drama surrounding Claressa Shields. We're basically picking up exactly where the story left off, and trust me, you won't believe how messy it's getting. Since the last update, things escalated after Papoose threw a little jab at 50 Cent by using one of his tracks. But the bigger conversation kept circling back to Claressa and that awkward flashcard game she first teased online. At first, it looked like a quick preview for social media, but then she doubled down and actually brought the whole thing to Papoose's family during his birthday celebration, which made the moment even stranger. Honestly, the entire situation left a lot of people scratching their heads because it felt less like a thoughtful surprise and more like a list of activities Claressa already wanted to do herself. And then things got even more confusing when she hopped on a plane, still clearly irritated while celebrating and sipping drinks along the way, which is interesting because this is the same athlete who often emphasizes being disciplined and staying clean, so viewers immediately started calling out that contradiction. She even made comments about being able to get Papoose anything he wanted, which sounds impressive at first, but when you think about it, it doesn't really land the way she might expect. After all, Papoose grew up navigating the streets and subways of New York, so acting like basic experiences are some extravagant luxury just feels a little out of touch. So now let's jump ahead in the timeline, because we've got a couple clips showing Claressa and Papoose out at a club together before the story shifts again into more vacation footage. And once you see those moments for yourself, the real tea behind this situation might start making a lot more sense.
Next thing we gotta get to is
The next thing we need to look at is a short compilation clip that a fan page put together for everyone online. The video itself will stay muted for copyright reasons, but don't worry, you'll still be able to see exactly what's happening in the footage. So let's pause for a moment and watch it together. As you'll notice right away, the fan account, no clue who actually runs it, created a small montage highlighting moments between Papoose and Claressa Shields. In the clips, you can see Claressa quickly switching up her look with the help of a hairstylist, going from the hairstyle we saw earlier to something completely different. Then the scene jumps again, and suddenly she's at a gun range, which definitely raised a few eyebrows online. It immediately makes people ask the obvious question: who else around this situation has been connected to gun range moments, or those pow-pow conversations that keep popping up in the drama? The timing of it all feels interesting because even while on vacation, it almost looks like there's an effort to mirror someone else's vibe or image. And honestly, when you step back and watch the pattern unfold, the whole thing becomes pretty fascinating to observe. In another clip, Papoose himself appears holding a firearm at the range, fully participating in the activity alongside everything else happening that day. After that, the footage shifts into what looks like the nightlife portion of the trip, clearly meant to be the entertainment side of the evening. We already saw earlier clips of them out at a club, so this seems to continue that same party atmosphere. What's interesting, though, is that nobody has actually confirmed the location of this trip yet, which means the details will probably surface later once everything wraps up. Then the montage shows both Papoose and Claressa surrounded by several other people, making it obvious this wasn't just a quiet getaway. It feels less like a private vacation and more like a full group celebration built around Papoose's birthday. But at the same time, some viewers online feel like the spotlight keeps shifting away from him and right back onto Claressa. And that brings us to the next moment in the story, because one of Papoose's daughters spoke up about wanting to surprise her father for his birthday. I'll let you hear her explanation first, and then we'll break down the caption that came along with it.
So of course, surprising your father for his birthday is a beautiful gesture, and nobody is taking that away from her. But what really caught my attention was the caption attached to the post, because it quietly revealed something very interesting about who might have actually paid for this so-called surprise trip. So let me read it to you exactly the way it appeared. It said, POV, you're coming with me to surprise my dad for his birthday. 2 flights canceled, but I refuse to miss this moment. 3rd time's the charm, and boom, I made it. Papoose, I'll never miss your birthday. Love you always. Followed by a heart emoji. Then the caption continues with a big thank you to the team at Win Records for helping make the trip happen. The post also tagged Claressa Shields, along with a few other people, including the hairstylist and another collaborator connected to the trip. But here's where things started getting a little more interesting once I looked back at the earlier video. In that clip, there was a text message shown from someone named Robin, and Robin just so happens to be the CEO of Win Records. So naturally, the question becomes, what happened to the big money narrative people were hearing about before? Because if Claressa is allegedly worth millions, many people assumed she was the one personally funding this entire birthday getaway. Yet based on that caption, it sounds like at least the daughter's travel was covered through Win Records and their team. And that immediately raises another question that nobody has clearly answered yet. Were other family members also flown out through the label as well? At that point, you really have to wonder if this was ever meant to be a private vacation in the first place, because from the outside looking in, it almost feels like this could have been a Win Records sponsored celebration disguised as a casual birthday trip. I'm not saying that's exactly what happened, but the pieces definitely make you stop and think, especially when you remember that earlier plane video where Claressa was talking about being able to get Papoose anything he wants. When those clips are placed next to these captions and messages, the whole situation starts to feel a little different. That's why I wanted to bring the receipts here and help connect a few of the dots that people might have missed. Now I want to hear from you in the comments, because your perspective matters too. Do you think this whole thing was organized and funded by Win Records from the beginning? Or do you believe Claressa will eventually step forward and say she planned and paid for everything herself? Because depending on the answer, the narrative around this trip could change very quickly. Either way, that brings us to the end of this breakdown and the end of today's video. If you enjoyed the discussion, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe so you don't miss the next update. Turn on that notification bell as well so you're the first to know whenever a new video drops. And with that said, I'll catch you all again very soon with another breakdown.